the inbound secret.
My name is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is the inbound. This is the inbound. This is the inbound. The inbound. This is the inbound secret.
What's up, guys? Bryce here with The Inbound Secret, and welcome to another episode. I've got some fire for you today. We've got the one and only Chad Kodary, CEO of Dashclicks, the social agency. You've been a speaker on stage. I think I first met you in Dallas. You're doing big things. I think you even did you were a guest speaker on Ross Christofoli's Carrot Con, right?
Yep.
Right on. Well,
thanks for having me.
Without further ado, man, give yourself a warm introduction and tell the people about you.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Chad Kodary. I've been in the digital marketing game since 2009. Started off our retail agency, social agency, ramped that up pretty quick. And then in about 2016, we started building a software platform now known as Dashclicks. We launched it in 2018. So it was about a 2-year build out. And now we have over 25,000 agencies that we service all across the world. Dashclicks is in every single country. And the goal for Dashclicks is to provide really 3 main things. It's white label fulfillment services for digital marketing agencies, a software platform where agencies can come in and manage their clients and manage their agency and their business. And then obviously educating agencies on how to basically scale their agencies without hitting roadblocks and walls. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're excited to see where the future takes us.
Right on. I know you and me have hopped on the phone a few times and kind of brainstormed and mastermind on what improvements DC could use or how you could make a bigger impact, how we could help each other. And it's always been a good conversation, man. We've only known each other for a short period of time, but you're a good friend of mine. I see you making moves and helping people. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for taking the time out to be here. So before we kind of get into the meat of today, I do have to ask, I see there's a bunch of like whiteboard stuff going on in your background, man. Is that new secret sauce coming out? Is that what that is?
That is new secret sauce, and you heard it here first. Yeah, we've been silent for the last 8 months, and there's a good reason for that. But we got something that's fun that's coming out real soon that everybody would love in the agency world. We're just kind of hanging tight and getting ready for something amazing.
So 2021 is going to be a big one.
2021 is going to be a big one. That is correct.
I like it. So you just did a fantastic intro here. 25,000 agencies is massive in 2 years. You've got the social agency still rocking and rolling that you built from 2009, just over a decade. There's a lot of people that are listening to this, watching this. Maybe they'll stumble across it organically. Maybe it'll be sent to them, however they want to consume. They're going to hear that number and they're just going to be terrified. They're going to be like, there's no way I can ever get there. It's just not an attainable goal. But you're living proof that it is. So let's kind of backpedal a little bit. And if you'd be so kind, just tell the people, like, from 2009, what were you doing before? Yeah. What got you to 2009? And then how'd you go from 2009 just opening a retail agency to all of a sudden being this powerhouse it's got 25,000 agencies that you support?
Yeah, I can kind of give you a little, the story's kind of fun. So pre-2009, pre-agency, I started my agency when I was like 21 years old. So really what I was doing before that was kind of fresh out of school, went to college. College just wasn't a good fit for me. I'm more of a hands-on person. I got to kind of be in it to win it. So that didn't work out for me. They put me in all the prerequisite courses, so I felt like I was an idiot rolling through college. So for me, college just wasn't a thing. I did my time. I think I did 2.5 years in college and then kind of set out from there. And during that time, I was working at restaurants as a grill man, making sandwiches, all the way from going out of town and working at beach stores in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. working at clothing stores. Like I'm talking about like young age. And then it's funny because one of the stores that I worked at when I was all the way from, I used to go for the summer between 18 and 21 years old. Every summer, I used to go to this beach store in Maine. And I would basically have a little booth that I worked at. It was a family friend that owned a couple stores there. And they had me basically out there. And it was a little booth doing these henna tattoos. Have you ever heard of them? Right.
Mhm.
So basically temporary tattoos, right? And, people that come, beach stores, it's the summer, they want to get these temporary tattoos. And I was always this creative person drawing. I always like graphics and stuff like that, right? So I was there doing that, then basically decided to do that here. I'm in South Florida, so I opened up a store very similar to that in South Florida in Miami Beach, in South Beach, as most would know. Did that for a little bit, and what I realized was probably about a month and a half to 2 months doing that, my whole focus shifted from doing these temporary tattoos and drawing on people to figuring out ways where I can get people in to actually get the tattoos and make the sale, right? So I was doing all of the creatives on the front end, right? Creating business cards, flyers, creating all these different marketing assets, a Facebook business page, or you would say like all of these different things to try to find a way to actually bring people into the store and buy products. What I realized was during that time is I liked actually doing that better than I liked doing these temporary tattoos. So I ended up opening up my first company. I switched the name of my company, which was Temporary Creations. That was the henna tattoo name. And then I switched it over to Social Agency and became a digital marketing company. And it's funny because when I started, I didn't do any digital marketing. I actually started in 2009 as a print company. And what I would do is I would do the graphics basically because I was a graphic designer. I would do graphics for business cards, for flyers, for brochures, and I would do all these graphics. And then I would send them off to a trade printing company. And that trade printing company would fulfill the order and then drop ship it to the customer. And then it had my name on it. So it was all white labeled, right? And I did that for a year until I realized that you really couldn't make any money selling $50 business card orders one time a year to people, right? So I was, if you ever went back in the day and you used Craigslist as a business owner to try to post your products and services, I was the guy who hacked the system and would have like 300 posts in one day going out talking about offering graphic design and printing services. So I was getting a lot of traction there. But during that time, I built out my first website, which is called printerprinting.com. Funny enough, it's still up today. I left it up for shits and giggles. But basically what it is the first HTML, CSS website that I coded myself. I taught myself how to code by watching YouTube videos. Took me like 6 months, built out this website, and this website ended up being like a massive website. It was like 1,000-page website, which back in the day, if you did SEO, what you would do is it was really simple to rank. You would take the keyword, you'd find the location that you want to rank for, you create a location page, and you just basically drop that keyword in there a shit ton, and then that would start getting ranked, and you start pointing some backlinks out there. So I did that for like almost every city in these big metro areas. And what happened was people would start Googling, business card design, Miami, a brochure design, New York City. Like, then I started being this hacker person. I just opened up all these Google business listings to try to get these localized people that were looking for these print and graphic design services to find me. And sure enough, months of doing that went by, and I was getting on average of about 100 to 150 calls a month for graphic design and printing services. But once again, realized that wasn't a good fit. So started looking into marketing, because people used to basically say, hey, Chad, you went ahead and you designed me this business card. Can you also do websites? It was always like that follow-up question, right? So I started just offering website design. I was like, shit, I just built a website for myself. It looks pretty cool. I'll just build you one too. And I started building websites for like $250 a pop back in the day, like little quick WordPress websites. And then I started doing more of that. And then the question, the question started transitioning to, hey, Chad, you built a website. Do you also do marketing to get people to find me, right? And I was like, shit, yeah, man, I did it for myself. I can do it for you too. And I started evolving into a digital marketing company. This was over the course of probably like 3 years, until I realized that the marketing is definitely the way to go. So following this massive company, which was called Madwire Media, I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're called Marketing 360. They've been around since 2009 too, but they scaled so fast that I used to always follow them and do my R&D and saying, well, what did they do? What did these guys do? What are they doing differently than I'm doing? And what I realized was it was recurring services. It was getting people, this is the whole secret to this game, is how can I get people to pay me monthly, provide them good service, and get them to keep paying me at the same time, right? It wasn't how can I get somebody to come order a business card for me for $50 and then hit me up 2 years later when they run out of cards and do a reorder. That wasn't really what I called recurring services, right? So what I did was I crafted this package probably in like 2014. So now we're going like probably like 5 years later, crafted this package, started going door to door and selling these digital marketing services here in my local town in South Florida. Bundled a package where it was like SEO, social media posting, and directory listing for like 300. I think it was like $399 a month for a 6-month contract with $149 setup fee. That was my core offer, right? Back at the time, which I didn't know shit about core offers or anything like that, but that was it, right? That was it. And I started going door to door. And today, what we know is Insta reports. People might be familiar with it, which is essentially a report that you'd run, which is one of the tools that we offer in Dashclicks. There was another tool that had a very similar approach to that we were using back in the day. And we were using that tool, and I would go door to door and say, hey, I want to run a report for your business just like this. This is what it looks like. I can run the report, totally complimentary. And then we can jump on a screen share session tomorrow using join.me back in the day. And I would actually share my screen and go through the report. And then at the end, pitch them this core offer, which was at $399. Well, ended up selling probably about like 5 of them in my first month. And as me being like this 24-year-old kid working out of my parents' house, my eyes started opening, right? So ended up getting my first office, scaling that up. Fast forward, probably, I don't know, about 2016, 17. I was in an office with probably about 20 full-time employees. This is for the core agency, for social agency, doing well over 7 figures in recurring revenue. And just really created this really structured, solid agency, right? Because I was doing it for so long. During that time, we even opened up a call center. We did a bunch of door-to-door. We did a bunch of ads. There are so many things that we did to drive in traffic. But we got really, really good at what happens once the orders come in. How do we actually fulfill, right? Then we started dabbling into white label fulfillment. This is pre-dashboard, pre-Dashclicks, pre any of that, right? We started actually fulfilling orders for about 3 or 4 bigger agencies that had probably about maybe 10 or so clients each. And we started fulfilling their orders all the way from things like SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, directory listings, stuff that we offer in Dashclicks. Got really, really good at that to the point where we literally created SOPs, created processes structured where order would come in, we would fulfill it really, really good and send it out. And we did a really good job doing that. And people were happy with our services. We got to the point where we were probably managing about 150 clients at one point, and we realized that we needed some technology. And there was really nothing on the market that was a good fit for us, right? So then we built what we know today as Dashclicks. It wasn't supposed to be what it was today. We weren't supposed to be this massive digital marketing agency platform for all of you dreamers out there. That wasn't even the dream. The dream was, hey, we have 150 clients that we're trying to manage. How do we just manage these guys and have a place where they can log in and see all of their analytics and stuff like that? Wouldn't that be cool? So we started developing this tool. I hired a full-time developer. Then it ended up being 2 full-time developers. We built out this tool. And about 6 months before October 2018, so probably around March 2018, met with the developer team. We were going to start using what we called Dashboard. That was just a dashboard internally. That was the name for it. We called it Dash. It's funny. So this secret project we were building, which was called Dash, we essentially built that out. It took us a while, probably close to 2 years. And right before we launched, we said, this is a freaking cool ass platform. I think other people might want to use it, and we're already doing white label fulfillment. Let's see how we can tie that into the dashboard, right? And have this basically I'm not going to use the word marketplace. That's third party. We fulfill all of our own orders in house, but basically have a system where people can come in and order from us and their clients get access to the dashboard. And we did, and we launched Dashclicks on October 2018. We had about 1,000 signups in day one. And on average, we get about 50 signups a day to our platform of people who want to use Dashclicks and inquiring about our platform, our fulfillment services, our education products. And today we got about 25,000 users using the platform. It's 2020. That is kind of the evolution of from how I started to 11 years later, man. It's been a journey. I can tell you that much.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. There's one thing that you said in there that I personally love, because I'm going through kind of that same process. And before this call, we talked a little bit about some of the software that I'm launching. And every single piece of software, the LMS, the analytics tool, the CRM, all of the ones that I've built were built to solve my problem, like my headache. Like the Overseer is the name of our Chrome extension that's coming out soon. The site's under construction right now, but I built it 2 years ago with one of my internal developers. And we built it solely because I didn't want to have like 10 screens open to run the information that I need for one quality report, right? Because I wanted to check traffic sources, organic sources, pixelation, analytics, page rankings. I wanted to check like the top 12 items. And there wasn't a particularly great tool out there that would let me do it instantly without having to log in, run a report, download a report. There just wasn't one that I could just click, done.
Yep.
So I made one, and I've been using it, the fucking rockstar app. And then somewhere along, like, it was like right when COVID started, right? A few of my team members and a few clients were like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's an app that we developed internally to use. And they're like, you can I have it? I'm like, I never thought about that. I don't know. So then it starts going into this thing where you're like, I guess I could sell this thing. Other people would like this.
Yeah, you know what? Most SaaS companies start from solving a personal need, right? So you're solving something that you need. You build something for yourself, and then you realize that other people want it and can use it too, and then you can deliver that and resell, right?
Well, I think that's the beautiful thing, because that Dashclicks, as big as it is right now, you said yourself, this wasn't the plan. This just happened to come out of it because we realized other people could benefit from it. Yeah. I think that's important. So going through those shifts, going from 21 doing henna tattoos to how old are you now?
I'm 32.
32, running a multi-7-figure business, two of them actually. You had to have gone through some ebbs and flows mentally, like just the solidarity to make it through that. Tell us a little bit about some of the bottlenecks, the struggles, the mentality that you went through. And as kind of the silver lining on that, what's the one thing that's always kind of brought you back to your core, brought you back to the focal point where you can keep pushing forward?
Yeah. I think for me, it's always been, I'm a big mindset person, right? And I'm always also a big believer in pushing forward as fast as possible and always trying to hit these next milestones, right? And I always set personal milestones in my life. And then I also set external milestones for whether it's my team, my company, or, whatever that may be. Right. And I'm the type of person that will also shoot big. I know it's not good to set high expectations. I usually don't I tell people not to do that in our coaching program, but then again, I do it, but I do it for a personal reason. Like I do stupid things. Like I'll go buy a house that's more expensive than the payment that I can afford in order to push me mentally to move forward, to be able to pay that payment. I'll buy a Lamborghini to go out and have a high car payment, and then I have to pay for that payment. So I'll go out and I'll do that. And it puts this like almost sense of pressure on me, and it's in a good way. So throughout my entire journey, I've always done these little pressure points internally for me, which what allows us to scale up. I mean, right now, when you talk about mindset, back when we started, we had 0 employees. We're over 60 employees today, full time at Dashclicks. So you can imagine what a payroll like that looks like. So that's I think what most people don't realize, and I didn't realize it, but as you scale up, I think structure and team is like the biggest thing that you can have. When we launched Dashclicks, we were not expecting, with all honesty, we were not expecting the influx that we were going to get. We weren't ready for it, right? So the first month or two was so crazy at Dashclicks. We were like shuffling around and hiring, and everybody was working overtime, and we were just trying to get everything done, because we really do believe in quality customer service and making sure that people are happy. But at the same time, everybody's human, right? So everybody goes through these, this whole evolving as a human, evolving as a company, and going through basically growing pains, right? And through us, we've gone through many growing pains, both physically in the company and also mentally, right? Especially me, I go through a lot of growing pains. And as you scale up, and you go from your 0 employees to your first employee, to 5 employees, to 10 employees, 15, 20, 40, 50, 60, and you're in your mind, you're like, man, like there's a lot of people riding on this dream. You know, this is a big dream. There's a lot of people riding on it, right? I better make sure I get this shit right. And that essentially puts more pressure, right? But it's also a sense of good pressure, because one thing, if I can give any piece of knowledge to anybody, is I've always been the type of person, and still kind of am today, but I've released a lot of it. But I like to do everything myself. I like to have control of everything, right? And as you scale up, you have to learn how to let those things go. You have to be the person to find good leadership in other people, train those people to do the things that you like in the way that you like them, and then let them put their spin on it. Find really good leaders that can help you push a company forward. Fortunately for us, it took us many runs at it, but we have a really solid team. I mean, we're at the point right now in our company where we have 3 people full-time in our company just recruiting, because we're looking for talent all day, right? And that's a full-time job for 3 people, recruiting, taking interviews, going through that whole process, which nobody wants to deal with. And that's why a lot of people use Dashclicks, right? Is finding these talented rock stars to come in and create you a Facebook ads campaign or run SEO for you, and then having to deal with the payroll, the hardware of purchasing computers, management, HR, taxes, payrolls, like all of this stuff, that it really is a headache, right? And we've taken that upon ourselves so other people don't have to do that, right? And I think we've got the system so like perfected right now that we're just at scale, right? We're at the point where we're adding and our team is growing. But I think it's team building, culture, and leadership, I think, are like the 3 biggest things. And you only realize that as you scale up. Like once, you know, I'm not even talking about a revenue number. I'm talking about once your team size grows and the company grows, and revenue obviously is right at the tail with that.
Yeah, one of the things, and tell me your spin on this. One of the things that I noticed as a bottleneck, and it's actually something one of my partners has helped me with since. I actually flew a guy up to take care of it, Trey. SOPs were a nightmare for me. Like, because I'm very much like you, where like I'm slightly a control freak when it comes to my baby and my clients and my family, and I want to make sure things are done. And it took me a long time to be able to relinquish control.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I've been able to do it, and it actually helped us get through COVID. I'm proud to be able to say, and honored to be able to say, that I didn't have to fire. I actually got to hire people during this pandemic. So all the people that rely on us, whether here as the US team or the overseas team, both of them, nobody had to worry about their job or their income or any of that, which I'm really honored to be able to do. But what that ended up causing for me internally, because I'm slightly a control freak, is everything was here. So I knew how to do everything, and I'd have to spend hours telling people, training people, manually doing things. And then it got to a point where, like, fuck, what do we do if I'm not available? Like, what happens? And it was one of those realizations, like, if I'm not available, all of them are in jeopardy, because they're all riding on the same dream, right?
Yep.
So we spent a week and knocked out every SOP that we possibly could think of that we needed here, took it all out of here and put it on paper, put it in a drive, gave everybody access to it. And now it's created another problem for us where we have to rebuild all of our ecosystems to match the SOPs so that there's no question or curiosity when somebody sees it, it's not identical, right? And so we're in that process. But thankfully, because of that, now I know that I did get sick. I was down for 2 weeks with COVID, and I've got bronchitis now from COVID, but I was able to still work through it. Not at full capacity like I wanted to, but I was able to still work through it. And the team was able to pick up and just keep everything rocking and rolling. What do you find that getting through that process, getting your SOPs done, did it help your culture in your company, or was it something that was kind of just like already there for you guys?
We had really good SOPs coming into Dashclicks because we were doing it for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cool part about Dashclicks is essentially we were just reselling what we were already doing for years. So It wasn't really anything that was like new to us. We weren't trying to figure out how to do SEO or how to run Facebook. We were doing it for, 8 years, 9 years before we launched, right? We just now had to figure out how to do it at scale. When you run Black Friday offer and 40 new Facebook ad campaigns come in 24 hours, how do you process that, right? We rely heavily on technology. So there's only so much an SOP will get you. And what we've decided to do and what we've been doing throughout the journey, and most people don't realize it, but there's a whole engine to Dashclicks. And when you pop open the hood and you look at the backside of it, it's not what people see on the front side, right? So when an order comes in, how does that order actually get processed? How does it actually go through the system? How does it relinquish tasks to the people who need to do it? How does it go into a queue system? How do we make sure that we do things on time? How does the communication stay together, right? And we rely heavily on technology. So we take our SOPs that we built, we'll run little live tests inside of the environment itself, and then we'll build our technology around that to kind of solidify and concrete it. But that's at the point where we're at right now, is we're basically building tech, because like you said, like these SOPs, they change daily. Things always change. Employees come in, and then now you need to find a new employee, right? That changes what that person is good at. Now you have to move other SOPs around to other people. So SOPs are only good until you reach a certain milestone, or like this certain part where like it needs to transfer into technology, and technology takes it from there.
Well, for us, they're almost one and the same, because much like you, we use our SOPs to determine how the technology is going to function. And because it's kind of like for us, it's like the chassis. The SOP is the chassis of the car, right? And the technology takes place of the body panels, the engine, the transmission, what's going to actually get you from point A to point B, and how it's going to look. And that also has sparked kind of why we've developed the softwares we've developed, an LMS because we've got learning products. We've developed the CRM because we wanted something easier to be able to extract data and leverage. We've developed the click tool to be able to just do one-click audits. So I was really curious, not so much for Dashclicks, but in the evolution of you going from a retail agency to Dashclicks, was there a lot of change that you had to do to get yourself not only mentally prepared, but like physically prepared for hours, time, reassociation, office, all of the tedious tasks to be able to make that transition as smoothly as you guys did?
Yeah, I think we got forced into it. So it wasn't by choice. And that's a fortunate thing. Most people, when they launch companies, they're just trying to get their first client. We launched our company, got 1,000 clients within the first 24 hours. It was insane, right? So I think the level of pressure that set to us made us do those transitions really, really quickly. Definitely long hours at the beginning, 100%. Definitely adding staff, a lot of pressure. I would say probably the first year of Dashclicks was like mind blowing. It's still mind blowing, but we're way more structured now, where it's a little bit less hectic, right? We can do a Black Friday sale and we're not crumbling or trying to run around with our heads off trying to work and figure out all how everything works. Like it's organized to the point where it's 2 years later. Now we're at the point where everything is kind of just steady, and then then you come out with all these new stuff that's coming soon, and things get really cool from there.
Now with everything that you've set up, 2020 didn't really affect you much. And thankfully it didn't really affect us much either. But there are a lot of people, especially listening to our show today, that it did. It had a big impact on them.
Yeah.
For those people, or for people that maybe it paused them, right? It wasn't detrimental, but it kind of stopped progression. What would you say is not only your point of view on how to push through that, but what would you say is kind of the one most important thing to keep in mind when pushing through something like COVID that kind of shut down the world for a while?
Yeah. I think for the digital marketing industry, if I don't know how many different types of segments of people are watching this, but if it's a lot of like marketing people, agencies, digital marketing people watching this, there's no excuse. Shuffle. Honestly, shuffle, hustle. Yeah. You got to shift, move around. You got to keep going. For business owners that maybe they had local gyms or restaurants, maybe that I can see them getting affected. But same thing there. Move to online. Start moving things around, doing other things. I think people need to get creative during those times where everybody's just paused. If you let yourself get paused, then you're going to pause and you're going to go downhill, right? So for us and for all the agencies that work with us and for everybody within our coaching program and stuff like that, we think outside of the box. We come up with different strategies on what we can do. When COVID hit, we're managing 1,000 Facebook campaigns. What are we going to do when all those Facebook campaigns are at a standstill, right? You got to be creative, got to go outside of the box. Tell gym owners to start doing online courses, running traffic to online courses of doing, memberships online, things like that. Just getting really creative with the campaigns and keeping these businesses afloat. Because at the end of the day, we serve small to medium-sized businesses. That's our target demographic. Those are our end users who our agencies sign up, basically, right? So those are the people that really fuel us and fuel the agencies, and without them, we would essentially be nowhere. So when we build all of these tools, when we build all of these services, we focus first on the end user, then on the agency. That's one of kind of our first mottos here at Dashclicks. But always thinking outside of the box and being creative, man. Like, people, you just can't get stuck. Shit happens in life. You got to keep going. There's no excuses. Like, if you're gonna sit and bitch and whine about it, then you're gonna lose money.
I love it.
Down to.
Yeah, I love it. So with everything that you've gone through, you've walked us through henna tattoos to open it up, South Beach, to doing business cards and flyers, to digital marketing, to retail, to Dashclicks, to now the next evolution of Dashclicks, and walked us through kind of the truth of the matter. Just hustle, grind it out, do what you got to do, make shit happen, make an impact, really just stay focused on that. What would you say is something, being on the inside, what would you say is something that you're looking forward to coming in 2021? Is it augmented reality? Is it virtual reality? Is it the new voice features that Google's pushing out? What are you excited about coming out?
Honestly, it's neither of any of those, to be completely honest with you. For me, it's more so about structure and scale. That's like a big thing for 2021. Right now, I'm trying to figure out, how do I go from 60, a team of 60 to a team of 300 in the next 12 months. That's my goal. And with that structure, technology, growth in the business, I can't talk too much, but we are obviously working on something big that's going to be coming out in 2021. I can't release any details, unfortunately, but it's going to be something that definitely changes the game for all small business owners and definitely for agencies. We're still servicing agencies. That's our core. And that's kind of where I see ourselves going into 2021.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was a ton of valuable knowledge there. I know everybody listening loves it. So let's kind of wrap up with, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, if somebody wants to take a look at Dashclicks, social agency, anything, where can they find you to take a look?
Yeah, best thing to do is just go to dashclicks.com, get yourself a free Dashclicks account, and our whole world is essentially right behind the wall of that platform. And join also our Marketer's Mindset by Dashclicks Facebook group. A bunch of, I think we're up to about like 5,500 agency owners in there that are all using the Dashclicks platform too. So it's a really cool place to collab with other agency owners.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Chad. We've got to catch up some more for sure. Hopefully the US opens up and travel's less of a restriction. That way we can try and do it in person instead of on Zoom. But once again, thank you for being on today. Everybody listening, this was another episode of The Inbound Secret, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, have a good one.
This is the Inbound Secret.
My name is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound Secret.